Good afternoon. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the regular meeting for the City of Laredo Bond Referendum Public Infrastructure Subcommittee. Today is Tuesday, October 10th, 2024, and it's approximately 5:39 p.m. We're here at the Engineering Department conference room located at City Hall, second floor, 1110 Houston Street. Item number 2 is roll call. So I will start with appointee for District 2, Roque Vela Jr.
Present.
Appointee for District 3, Arturo Dominguez.
Present.
Appointee for District 3, Mayra Hernandez.
Present.
Appointee for District 4, Juan Narvaez.
Present.
Appointee for District 6, Gerald Treble. It's not here. Appointee for District 7, Bill Young. It's also not here. So we do have a quorum. First of all, this is item number 3, public comments. We haven't received any public comments, so we'll continue. Item number 4 is introduction of the committee members. So I'd like to start over here. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Roque Vela Jr. I am the owner-operator of Playmore Entertainment and JetBlue North. The family's been doing business here for decades, and just like any other citizen of Laredo, this is an important item, and I'm very happy and proud to be part of this subcommittee.
Thank you.
Arturo Dominguez. I am a U.S. custom broker. I've been doing this since 1991. I got my license, and I guess I represent trade here, and that's all I've done all my life.
My name is Juan Narvaez. I used to be self-employed in the manufacturing housing industry for over 30 years, and now I'm just retired, receiving my pension from the Social Security.
Nice.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Maria Hernandez. I come from the higher education world. Been doing that for 2 decades already, but I have some experience in the private sector and the public sector as well. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Elito Dos Santos. I'm a civil engineer here at the engineering department.
And good afternoon, everybody. And again, thank you for being here today. We appreciate you being part of this committee. My name is Ramon Chavez. I'm the city engineer. I've been with the city of Laredo 19 years now, almost. And so I'm looking forward to working with every single one of you. I know I've worked with some of you in the past on one way or fashion, project or another, but we're here to serve and assist the committee. I'm the liaison that's been appointed by the city manager for the Public Infrastructure and Subcommittee, and so we're here to help. With that being said, we will close the introductions and we'll move on to the action items now. So action, we got item number 5, discussion with possible action on the election of the subcommittee chair and any other matters incident thereto. So at this time, the subcommittee members need to entertain a motion and name a subcommittee chair and then provide a second.
I'd like to make a motion to name Roque Vela as the chairperson of this committee.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to name Mr. Roque Vela Jr. as the subcommittee chair for the Public Infrastructure Subcommittee. Any discussion? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Mr. Vela.
Thank you. Let me just switch over here real quick.
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you so much for the confidence in putting me naming me as chair. As you all know, time is of the essence. Obviously, this is a very important committee, as are the other subcommittees as well. This one has the most potential weight to it as far as monetarily. I believe we're entertaining the possibility of $378 million, I believe, for infrastructure. Obviously, being part of import-export, this is important to every city, but just especially important to the city of Laredo. We do have Robert's Rules of Order. I want to stick to that as much as possible without being too formal. Obviously, this is again, time being of the essence. We just want proper decorum and make sure everybody has their fair share and chance to be able to speak. So again, thank you so much, and I appreciate it. So we'll move forward with discussion with possible action to the item number 6, with discussion with possible action on the election of a subcommittee vice chair and any other matters thereto.
I would make a motion to put Mr. Narvaez as a vice chair.
There's a motion. I will second that motion. Any discussion? Okay, there's a motion, a second, no discussion. Those for?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those, motion carries.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mr.
Congratulations,
Narvaez.
Mr. Narvaez. Yes, sir.
As many of you know, Mr. Narvaez was one of my colleagues when I was on city council. I always looked up to Mr. Narvaez and his wisdom, being a little bit older. He's very passionate about our community, as we all are. So congratulations.
And
Looking
just to
forward
repeat and echo your sentiments, that's why I'm in this committee, because I feel as business people that we are, we have to make sure that where money is invested well.
Correct, and I think we all feel that way, and be able to take this time away from other things, from our personal time and or obviously work time. It speaks volumes to how important this is to each and every one of us. And I'm looking forward to working with you again, Mr. Narvaez.
Likewise.
So moving forward to item number 7, discussion with possible action on the election of a subcommittee secretary and any matters incident thereto. Now, Mr. Chavez, I have a question.
Yes.
What exactly would be the commitment here, the duties of the subcommittee chair?
So
Secretary.
Or, sorry, secretary.
Secretary, yes. So the idea with this is for a member of the subcommittee to take notes, minutes, and we have available the videos and all the information to make sure that all that information comes from the committee itself. We can definitely assist with formats for that reason, but maybe staff will at the same time will assist, but
Yeah.
we want that to come from the secretary of the
Yeah,
subcommittee.
so this is normally a staff duty.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the question that I already knew the answer to, obviously.
Yeah.
This is a lot to ask for
Mm-hmm.
from the committee itself, or a particular member of the committee. It's going to be difficult finding someone to accept this.
Okay.
Have the,
Bill Young got
Wait.
it.
yeah, this is one of those cases
I mean,
where when you're not there, you get chosen.
Staff will assist. I'm not saying that we're probably gonna drop everything and say you're in charge of everything. We will assist, and we probably accommodate and deliver as much information so that we don't
Just to make some
place
comments.
a burden.
And again, we're gonna be naming people that need to be committed to the meeting, that need to be always.
That's correct.
So
Yes.
again, the reason I was looking at you, Ms. Amanda, because since you come from the educational background, I mean, you have a lot of, again, like I said,
Being
if
prepared is.
you don't mind,
And we're gonna have staff. I'll have staff available as well that to cater the information.
So are you going to expect the secretary to actually put together the minutes?
Those were the instructions that we've been given. That come from a particular member of the subcommittee to
Makes
be
sense.
a secretary for each subcommittee.
Have all the subcommittees actually elected a secretary?
That's my understanding.
Wow.
That's my understanding.
Well, at least based on what I'm looking at the
Mm-hmm.
subcommittees, one has already their appointees. The other three not. The other three not yet. At least
yet.
according to this. Public safety.
We're in discussion right now.
Yes, we're in
Okay,
discussion.
Jesus, do you? I know that they named a secretary, right? They did select the
Yeah.
one, right?
Those were the directions that the minutes were gonna be, the recordings were gonna be provided. And then the city secretary was, I think the main role is to confirm that everything that's in there is correct what was discussed.
Yeah.
So and
Motion. Oh,
yeah.
are we still in discussion?
We're in discussion, but if you'd like to make
Yeah,
a
I make a
motion.
motion. Mr. Arturo Dominguez to secretary.
There's a motion, is there a second?
second,
There's a motion and a second, any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Pues ya no quedó. Se echaron un volado, no sé
We
qué se
did.
echaron un volado.
Congratulations, Mr. Dominguez. And I think honestly, this is going to be working with the city secretary's office.
Yes.
And what's going to end up happening is they're gonna end up putting it together, and you're just gonna approve it and
Yeah.
bring it to us, and obviously we'll approve it as well.
Right.
I'll help you.
I'll do whatever I have to do.
So,
And we'll assist as well. I'm gonna have staff helping me out with all this. I won't be able to do it by myself,
Yeah.
and I know there's a lot of information that we want to provide. So
Yeah.
we're here to help.
we can't not have minutes, obviously, so
Right.
staff is going to put it together. And I think it's not going to be as overwhelming as you would think. Moving forward with item number 8, discussion with possible action of roles and responsibilities of the bond referendum public infrastructure subcommittee and any other matters, incidents thereto. This is a very viable item. I mean, I think we all have, we understand the responsibilities and you know, what may or may not come out of this subcommittee, but I think it's a valid question. So, Mr. Chavez, would you like to?
Yes. So again, I have been appointed by the city manager to be your liaison, right? And so part of the responsibilities is to facilitate the communication, to coordinate meetings, logistics, and ensure that the subcommittee has access to all necessary resources and information, right? That's part of it. We are here to provide expertise, to provide answers to questions, and assist with gathering data and documentation needed for the subcommittee's review process. So that's what we're here for, to provide you that information, provide you that data, those studies, those maps, as may be needed, so that you can make those decisions, right? We want those decisions to be based on information that you have at your fingertips, and so that's why, as staff, we will be prepared to provide you all that at the end of the day, so you can provide a recommendation.
Any questions?
I did want to also mention, just for general purposes, this is on your booklet, right? And so this booklet, I sent it by email too, just in case, so that you have it as well. But we printed some copies. If you look under the tab for the CMO, almost at the end of the presentation, you'll see what's on the screen. And just for general information, this is some of the best practices. This is the presentation the city manager provided when this was put together. And one of the information that I thought it was important to mention as part of all this and the responsibilities is the CIP, the bonding, right? And how bonding may be used for capital improvement projects. Yes, that slide. Not operational cost. I know there've been some questions on those things, right? The preparation of niche, again, should be from 5 to 7 year time frame, right? And the city may submit in the future referendum for additional projects every 5 years. So that's the intent. And the bond repayment is expected to be a 20-year time frame. Now, also with that being said, if you look like 3 or 4 slides down, there's also a slide with some of the potential items for referendum, right? And these are up to the subcommittee to decide. And this is where staff is a resource based on the vision that we have for our city to where do we wanna, the projects that we wanna look at. Some of the potential ones that were included on this presentation related to public works. We were looking at streets and sidewalks citywide. And that's where engineering and public works will be able to provide all that information. We do have some studies, we have analysis that we've done in the past related to these items. Some of the other potential items could be downtown infrastructure in this district, and then also Mines Road improvements in that area. Now, that doesn't mean that these are the only things that the subcommittee is going to talk about. Again, you all are here because of your expertise, because of your business backgrounds, your educational backgrounds, to provide those ideas on what you expect to move forward so that the staff can provide the necessary information.
I want to use that question on those 376. You say earlier for 20 years, more or less.
Those are the estimates that they provide. I think the numbers that the city manager provided were on numbers that were based on looking at doing the work for the entire city. But that doesn't mean that that's exactly what we're going to do.
My question is, Rita used to replace water sewer line. Costs have gone skyrocket.
Right.
And again, we're going to be doing something like this to inform the constitutional taxpayers. My question will be to you: what's going to happen if in 10 years that dollar amount is not sufficient to acquire all those programs?
And so that's where I guess as we move forward and looking at the information and the data, we will be able to provide you current numbers. But again, depending on what projects and how we're going to look at this, going back to your question, we're going to have to project inflation cost and all those things to 5 years down the road, because some of these projects may not develop until then, by the time you put plans and specs and all that.
I understand that the sidewalks is something that is required from the developer.
Correct. Right.
The sidewalks, are we talking about the old city of Laredo?
The old city of Laredo mainly, yes. The old city of Laredo, there's a lot of needs. We've done here at our office studies in the past where sidewalks are missing and all this citywide and all the districts. And of course, the old area of town, that's the one with the most need.
And I'm coming back to the time, my District 4, most of the people have no sidewalks.
Right.
They have no carports.
Correct.
Everybody parks on top of the sidewalk. And that's one of the reasons when I was in office, I did not provide sidewalk because the same people would park their cars on top of the sidewalk. And the excuse that gave me was that students could not walk on sidewalk.
Correct.
None.
Yes.
But the car, they will go back and park. My question is, if we're gonna spend money investing in sidewalks, are we gonna enforce our existing ordinances?
And that's
ticket people that are parking on top of the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Thing is, you don't want to put sidewalks to become parking lots.
Yeah, and so those are some of the things that as we develop projects here in the city, we do a lot of projects through CDBG funding. So as soon as we finish those projects, we're trying to be proactive on going out and telling the people, we just finished this sidewalk, but it's not for you to park, and there's going to be enforcement. And so we try to just educate people to let them know that the sidewalks are for kids to walk, for people to be able to walk safely, and all those other factors that come into play.
Mr. Chavez, I have a question. What is, and obviously whatever comes out of this subcommittee is going to be suggestions, right? And hopefully City Council follows them. But what is the plan as of right now as far as the selling of these bonds? Is it going to be over a certain amount of years, or what is it that staff was planning on? What kind of layout are we looking at here?
And Jesus, I didn't introduce Jesus. I don't know if you walked in maybe after introductions, but Mr. Jesus Esparza is our budget director, and I'm glad he's here because I think he has more knowledge on that area as far as the bonds is concerned.
Yeah. The referendum itself is to get the authorization from the citizens to go out for the selling of those bonds. And you're exactly right, Sir Chevron, that some of these projects may not happen within the first or second year. So we're gonna have to come in and plan those projects within the next 5 or 7 years. And to answer one of the previous questions was that I think that the idea here is to focus on projects that are within 5 to 7 years. Because I think the idea right now is to plan to come back within another 5 years and come up with another a referendum to approve whatever projects are remaining or additional projects that come up throughout the years. Because one mechanism or one issuance is not going to take care of all the problems themselves out there.
Right now, the 53 cents, that's where our tax rate is right now, 53 cents. Of the 53 cents, I think 13 cents is for debt service.
11 cents.
11 cents is for debt service. And this is, I don't know if you're gonna be able to answer this question, but of those 11 cents, how much of that's going to mature within the next 5 years?
I don't have the exact amount,
Yeah,
but
ballpark.
Right, but normally what matures, it gives us a capacity of anywhere from 20 to 35 million per year that we can reissue every year. Now, that's the issuance that we do for the tax-supported debt, which is one thing that was mentioned, for example, anything that's supported through, utilities, for example, which is an enterprise fund, they have their own separate, amount in there. So whatever gets issued through the referendum is gonna cause that increase in the debt service rate. Yes, correct.
I think everything's available on page 11 out of our green package. What he's saying, it's the goal is to plan something within the 5-7 year range. It's not,
Yeah.
if you want the pen, so you can name it, but it's page 11.
Yeah, and it's on the screen as well. Yeah, I have it on the
Yeah.
screen, right.
And so it is really the goal is to practice something within the 7 year range, and then after that. And we can only do what we can do. I mean, a few years ago, 5 years ago, we had a pandemic happen, we were not prepared for that.
Yes.
Really, it's just a projection.
And really, I would, being interest rates where interest rates are right now, and they're going to start coming down, how quickly, who knows?
Well, it depends on elections too, I mean.
Yes.
Yes, it does. A lot riding in November, right?
Yeah.
And of course, all the other data coming out from the economy, but it would behoove us to wait till I mean, right now is not the best time to be borrowing hundreds of millions of dollars. I would think we would take some of that into consideration and borrowing some money a little bit further down the line. Of course, we can always refinance, there's always that.
And the first step is to get the authorizations for the projects that the committees will be putting forward to get approved. And then, because there are certain things that can be billed that do not have an M&O expense, which is the other side of the tax rate. So, for example, if we open a brand new fire station, it's gonna require manpower. So that impacts us on the M&O. So some projects may have an impact on M&O, and that is also gonna determine when we can absorb those additional costs on a year to year. But if there's a project, for example, of a building that we're gonna move existing people, well, it makes it more viable because the M&O impact is much smaller. So,
But the problem is not building, it's the maintenance of building.
moving forward.
Yes.
I have a question, Mr. Sparta. I know that our city is growing, as you know.
Is this the infrastructure?
Yes.
Sorry.
Hey.
Secretary.
Your proxy again?
Observer. No, not Mr. Schrebel. Do I take a seat at the side?
Yeah,
Is this
right there.
okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you.
It's,
Traffic.
on the growth of the city, I noticed this year, the city got $75 million of new tax rates or new valuations from the appraisal.
The appraisals.
Right. So every year, we're getting new dollars because of the growth. A bunch of warehousing all over the place, and asked Mr. Ramirez to justify that. How are we managing those monies? Because like I said earlier, we can start sending bonds, but if we're not managing our incomes, and then we're just spending money because we have it, we cannot every 5 years or every so often ask the taxpayer for more money. We need to be able to ration our income producing, and that's how we're managing all those new monies that are coming in.
The referendum is gonna get the money from what is approved by the citizens, right?
Right.
So we're talking about two different things. One side is the M&O,
Right.
which is the growth. And normally that's where the struggle comes in, to balance general fund with the M&O. So we're limited to and one of the things that we're also working, Mr. Nem is working on a resolution, so that right now we have a cap of 3.5% on those new monies. So
Right.
it's limited us on how much revenues we get. So whatever revenues we get is the money we have to appropriate in our expenditure, so we have to have a balanced budget. So we're only gonna grow to that capacity. So the other side of the equation is, now that we're trying to build more buildings and that is to also try to figure out how are the revenues are gonna come. One of the aspects that we're looking at, and management is looking at, is trying to figure out and asking for the state some allowances for us to be able to go beyond the 3.5% for certain exceptions, because that's the other side of the, of course, we're gonna have to continue looking at revenues. Are we comfortable with the revenues with other cities as certain revenues to be able to grow with that?
So in the warehouse, we have 433 million square feet, and they're gonna build in the next 2 years 100 million square feet.
Hey guys. I'm
Council
sorry.
member?
Is this enhancement service?
No, it's upstairs, Councilman.
Okay.
Yes.
Conference room.
Sorry for interrupting and thank y'all for doing this.
Thank you.
Okay.
And so it's gonna grow, and it's a tremendous growth from 433 to another 100 million square feet in 2 years. That's a lot of growth.
Mr. Chavez, and we're all trying to wrap our minds around this, and we're asking a lot of questions.
Yes.
And none of this is set in stone, obviously. But what is the plan on how this money is going to be spent, as far as how much of this work is going to be done in-house, how much of it's going to be subcontracted? Have there been any talks of that at all within staff?
No, right now the numbers that we've been looking at, we're looking at numbers if we subcontract all this out. Public Works has certain capacity with manpower, and I know sometimes they get stretched, but I think right now the idea would be to subcontract this work out.
The whole thing.
That would probably
but
be.
you know, John's not happy unless he's
Yeah.
upset about doing too much work, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or it may be a combination, but I don't think we can just say that all this work could be done in the house.
Okay, one more question.
Yes.
Well, not one more, but another question. Does staff have any semblance of projects? I remember, this is very general. It's you know,
Right.
we want to pave every single street in Laredo, which is aggressive to say the
Right.
least. And it's very just, you know, a big number. Is there anything more specific that the committee can see that we can go through? Because if not, we're just gonna.
There is,
We need some direction, something to kind of
yes.
look at and chop up. if
Sure.
you will.
So every year we present and City Council approves a 5-year capital improvement
So CIP,
plan. So the
that's-
CIP. And that list, one of the things that we did early on this year, and Jesus was part of it, is we sat down with every department and we looked at their needs. So that is the latest list of projects based on the next 5 years of needs for the city. And a lot of those are related to infrastructure.
And just out of courtesy for people who may be watching, what is CIP?
Capital Improvement Program, and it's the plan that we lay out every year. It's available online, and I'll be more than glad to facilitate to you. And I don't know how many pages it is, but I'll narrow it down to scope and say, look at these at this area. So you don't have to scroll through the whole thing unless you have to or you want to. But I can narrow it down to a way that you can just focus on where those projects are. And I think that could be a good start on seeing how we're gonna present this to the public eventually.
Mr. Dominguez?
Yeah. For the Mines Road, for example, the RMA did a study for the triangle, the northern triangle, and part of it is the Mines Road. Did they consider something that was recommended in that study? You don't have an idea?
No, I'd have to look at it or see which study it is. But again, from our perspective as the liaison and as a department, if there's any information that you feel you need, we're here to provide you those resources and that information. There's a lot of information available, and so we can provide as much as we can, so that again we can facilitate to you, depending on the focus or on the project.
Yeah, as we go through this agenda, the last agenda item is is where I'd like to entertain the motions, and there'll be some motions that I'll
Yes.
put on the floor too, as far as giving directive
Yes.
to staff as to what I'd like to see,
Yes.
or what we'd like to see.
Correct.
At the next meeting, and then from there, obviously, the agenda can be formed.
Yes, sir.
Before we adjourn or other item, so our next meeting, we're gonna bring people like John Orfila or somebody, directors, to explain to us all that.
Yes, I mean, it's up to the subcommittee
No, I'm
to.
asking because
yeah.
they can inform us.
Yeah,
Is that right?
John is part of this. He's out of town this week, but he's certainly going to be in all these conversations to make sure that we that you get that
Right.
information straight from the horse's mouth like this.
Very good. Any other discussion? Okay, moving on to item number 9, discussion with possible action of the timeline of the bond referendum public infrastructure subcommittee and any other matters incident thereto. So right now, we are in October. Obviously, September was when we all took our oath and choose our subcommittees. October through November, subgroup meetings begin with each group reviewing relevant city department plans. Okay, so we have 2 months.
Yes.
We have 2 months to be able to get the information we need and put our suggestion forward. And then in December through January, full committee meetings commence to discuss it. Is that where, when you say full committee meetings, is, what does that mean? Do we all get together?
That's my understanding, yes.
All the committees.
Yes, all the committees are gonna get together, all 28 members, Jesus, right?
Yes.
Yes,
That should be fun.
yeah, yeah, that's gonna happen from, I guess, December, January, and,
Okay,
yeah.
December, January, then
Mhm.
February final review, and then May. May's the bond referendum election.
Yes.
Very good. Discussion? Everybody?
Yeah. Again, the part of the suggestions is that there's bi-weekly meetings, right? But again, the subcommittee has
Bi-weekly
the,
or bi-monthly?
no, bi-weekly for
Bi-weekly.
the subcommittee,
month.
right? But again, the subcommittee has the ability to meet at any time, depending as necessary, or
Is,
to take any
yeah,
action.
I agree. Is there a particular day that is better for anyone? I'm gonna guess 5:30 is good for everybody.
You
It's
wanna do it
after
on
work.
Thursdays?
Tuesdays and Thursdays generally work better for me.
Okay.
Monday's Monday Night Football. Then again, so is Thursday. So
Tuesday.
And just with all due respect to the chairman from the IBOC, Mr. Cho gonna be coming to those meetings?
yeah, is there a day that is better for Mr. Crowe?
Yeah, I need to check with him, and I can find out as soon as tomorrow.
It's always a moving target. We can obviously we're going to set our next meeting tonight. Doesn't have to be on Tuesdays, but I will shoot for Tuesday for the next one. If that and obviously we'll discuss that in the next.
I think there's a
So
comment.
Chair, may I be recognized?
Yes,
I
Mr.
think that
Esparza.
the meetings, the large group meetings are gonna be on Tuesdays, so, they're not gonna start meeting until, I think, next month. So you might be okay with this one on Tuesday, but there's gonna be one Tuesday out of the month that the main committee is gonna meet.
Everyone, all the 20
Yes,
plus
I think so.
members.
Do
And I think the
we-
chairs, there's gonna be some meetings where the chairs are gonna attend that meeting.
Mhm.
And then
Do we know which Tuesday?
they haven't set it up yet, so they're just trying to set those meetings.
It'll be Tuesday.
So as soon as we have that, then you can put in the calendar, you can definitely work around the Tuesdays.
Okay, so let's move on to this next, because we're talking about this anyway. The next item number 10, discussion with possible action on the selection of the location, dates, and time of the next bond referendum, public infrastructure subcommittee, and any matters incident here though. So I would imagine we'd all rather prefer to meet in chambers. Is there a schedule?
Right now, there's no schedule. Again, we have this item for that same reason, so the subcommittee can.
Well, as far as the available dates for city council chambers.
Not that I've been mentioned to. I mean, from what I understand, it should be available.
Well, it depends. You all don't have like one shared calendar where everything on Chambers is there by any chance?
They
No.
do, the city secretary has the
I would
calendar, and
figure
they're
that
trying to finalize the meetings right now and.
Because there's another committee technically happening right now.
Right.
At the same time,
Right.
and so I'm thinking they probably are exploring.
There are
Probably.
there are two other committees meeting, and one of them actually has a city secretary meet in it.
Right.
So if he has
So
the
they got the edge. They got the inside track.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
So would it be convenient, if I may, Chair?
Yes.
Okay, if it'd be
Mr.
convenient,
Chavez.
maybe select a primary location and then just in case of a secondary, just in case?
The public safety committee decided to meet at, for example, the fire station and the police station. They're a little bit different, but you can also consider meeting in the different locations that you're gonna
Right.
oversee some of the projects as well. But it can be also in this conference room that you have,
Right.
Ramon, as well, so. But they opted to go, and what's gonna happen, the department, the fire chief and the police chief are gonna give their presentation of what their vision is and what they're trying to, get from the referendum, so.
Okay, any other discussion, motions? Can I entertain a motion to set our next meeting on Tuesday, the 22nd at 5:30 in City Council chambers?
Any motion?
I'm entertaining a motion.
Second.
And it would be at 5:30, right?
At 5:30 is fine.
5:30.
Is that okay with everybody? So there's a motion and a second, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. I'd also like to get some direction from the committee as far as what we'd like to see at our next meeting. Information, plan, which department heads and or directors that we'd like to see.
Yes.
Well, so who's gonna be in charge of directing us? I think you said Orfila's gonna be one of them.
Orfila will be one.
Oh, yes, so it's Mr. Mr. Chavez is our liaison.
Yes.
Orfila is also on staff as well.
Yes.
Is there anybody else that we'd like to hear from?
We're not gonna address
All right,
utilities.
Mr. I'm sorry.
No.
Mr. Sparks, are you gonna be at every meeting?
I am going to try to make most of the meetings that I
Yes.
can.
Okay.
Unless there's a duplication of meetings, like right now, we have the other one upstairs, so, I wanna, I guess, excuse Mr. Mata. Mr. Mata is the finance director, and he's the main liaison as well. He's upstairs right now.
So, one of you will be here?
Yes.
Okay.
I put all the departments up there just in case. Sometimes I do that too. Who do I need to get involved? And I just look at the list and things come up.
All of this potential bond money is going to be for existing thoroughfares, correct?
Yes.
We should probably, and I don't even know who we would
Well.
get from utilities, because we're talking about some infrastructure within downtown as well. So we'd have to get our hands around exactly, and we all know a lot of it, if not all of it, needs to get replaced as far as water, sewer,
Right.
things of that nature. Would be best if we get somebody from utilities in here as well,
And
just
that's
to
why
give
I
us some
asked earlier,
direction.
Right.
we have somebody from utilities to let us know.
Yes.
And I know they've done, if I may, Mr.
Yeah,
Chair,
yes, Mr.
they've done some improvements downtown as far as replacing lines. So they had a program. I don't know exactly where they're at, but I know that there's been some replacements.
Corpus Christi was done from Cedar all the way to where?
To McLennan?
McLennan,
Yeah,
yes,
Cedar to
How
McLennan.
much was that investment there?
Right, that's a good question. Let me get it for you. Because that was gonna be one of my, if y'all haven't had a chance to
Go
drive
there.
by Corpus Christi between Cedar and McClellan, just take a drive. That project was recently completed, and it was following our Viva Laredo comprehensive plan. So in my opinion, it turned out very nice. I don't know if you've seen it, council member?
I love that we came out.
Turned out very nice. New pavement, water, sewer, wide sidewalks.
It
And
replicates a little bit about the multi-use facilities where you have
Yes.
space to
Mm.
park
Mhm.
and walk.
Mhm.
And for the buses to pull over from
Mhm.
the.
Correct.
Yes.
So at least for mobility purposes, it caters to most
And the reason I threw
transportation
that at
needs.
you, Ramon, because based on that
Trees.
investment there, we know how much money we're gonna need if we're gonna
That,
be doing.
that was part of the recommendations that I was gonna give, that being a good example, that we just finished, where that we pretty much renovated the entire thing. And yes, that is a good example.
I personally
Ms.
would like to
Hernandez.
see solid waste, for sure, solid waste, obviously public work is here.
Traffic.
Yes, for sure. traffic.
For sure, traffic.
Mhm.
Solid waste, let's see. Where is it? I think you had mentioned utilities, correct?
Yes, utilities.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
Although this bond will not be for utilities, right,
Yeah,
Jesus?
So-
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well,
Okay,
that's one
good to
of
know.
the things I want to point out. The solid waste is an enterprise fund as well. So when they issue debt, they pay it
That's
out of the
right.
revenues
Correct.
from solid
Mhm.
waste as well as utilities. But we're not limited to not doing that. However, what we want to try to focus on the tax supported, which are the general funds. And I'm glad Mr. Chavez mentioned the Viva Laredo, because I think in the discussions that I've heard from management is the roadmap is our CIP, because that's where we have a lot of the projects. We have, for example, this last year, we had $300 million worth plus of projects that we had there to do. Unfortunately, our capacity is $30 million. So we prioritize the projects that we issue on a year-to-year bonds, which is that window that you had mentioned. So what we're trying to do is pick up anything from the CIP, because those are some of the departments have put forward their needs, and then from there be able to pick, and from the Viva Laredo as well as a guide as to what we're picking to hopefully put in the referendum.
This bond will not be for utilities, only for
No, correct.
sidewalks?
Yeah, utilities right now, we have a plan that we're issuing, and we just issued 93 million dollars. And we have a plan of issuing that 1 year, and then it lets us spend the money, catch up, and then we issue the following. So we're
And
issuing that every 2
Pero
years.
resurfacing the Poco, for resurfacing the street, this
The
bond?
resurfing, that's one of the main ones that I would suggest being considered, because that's where we're struggling on the repaving of the streets. I know Ramon and I have been talking about looking at that paving program. You know, right now we put anywhere from 8 to 10 million. It's not enough.
No, it's nowhere near
It's
enough.
not nowhere enough. I mean, you're looking at maybe 30 to 40 million dollars a year to continue the paving program and the sidewalk, which are in conjunction. And then as you get into that, utility might come in, because as we're paving streets, we're doing the.
Which is why I'd like to see the utilities here.
Yes, yeah,
Mr.
we can definitely have him present to you as
Yes.
well, because.
Mr.
it's gonna
Sauvignon?
be-
Yeah, so, you know, downtown area also there's a plan being discussed through the TERS.
Yes.
And I think the TERS is probably a good organization to bring in,
Agreed.
because you want to hear what the TERS has planned. They've already had a master plan of certain streets, and they already have designs and engineering, so that it avoids that duplication. And an important point that they did during that process was they met with the city to find out what they wanted to avoid, given the limited funds that TERS has, avoid doing some streetscape and street projects and then have it a year later undone because now we need a water drainage program. And so the city was good about sitting down with the group and saying, okay, we've redone the mains and the lines on these streets, not on these, so that basically they did their design around what's already been done. And so I think that's a good group, because one, we know that they're not bringing in enough money to make that project do it all at one time or sooner, and maybe this can complement some of that work.
That's a very good point. Who is the chairman of the TERS?
What's his name?
Jose Ceballos.
Jose Ceballos, that's right.
Can we invite the chairman and or the vice chairman or anybody for that matter?
And that's
from
one
the
of the
TERS?
reasons we're talking about the
Mr.
street
Narvaez.
paving and utility, because sometimes we resurface the street,
Yeah.
that's rompe la línea, and I already invested $1,000
Right.
resurfacing, so we have to have something in conjunction. Resurfacing, might as well replace the lines.
No.
And so
Yeah.
Jose's been, he took over, I was chair of the organization for a while. He took over as chair about 3 years ago, and he's done a lot of good work and homework on that. So it's worth the time.
Agreed.
Yeah, we're doing a project on Zaragoza, if I may, and it's turned out very
I
nice
saw
as
that
well.
one too.
Mr. Chavez, so is the idea, you mentioned the project on Corpus Christi. Is the idea to do something like this downtown?
That would be, again, we
I
have
haven't seen it, but you talked about widening, and if there's one
Yes.
thing that downtown needs, it's some widening.
Yes, so again, we have a comprehensive plan that's been adopted by city council. And so the vision has to be as such, to follow that plan. And we followed that plan with this project. So let me just show you, I think it's like a minute video. We did some LED street signage, which I think downtown needs that. You go to other bigger cities and they all have those nice types of signs.
That's our living room downtown.
Because that's a lady that maybe has some business in the
Is that a
area.
business?
You can see the white sidewalks, the bus bays.
Was there water lining or added,
They did all that
Or-
replacement.
Yes. Yes. Going back to the
like an
previous
irrigation
comments.
too?
Yeah, and bringing in utilities, if we decide, or the subcommittee decides to, hey, we're gonna do this project, that'd be not more than, make sense, that make sure that that infrastructure on the ground has been replaced, or it's that it's a PVC
Yeah.
material, or you don't wanna resurface or do a project where it's a cast iron line from 1950, so.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, the reason we want to know, obviously, when these projects get done is not why we were assembled.
Yes.
But it is, we do want to be able to get our minds around, our hands around what is out there so that we can fund it properly. So we can, if with whatever money we end up giving out there, we're okay with, okay, this, and again, this is going to be, up to city council's discretion, but the reason they're putting us together is they want to get some direction and be more targeted.
Luis, that one, like all that, aquí se ve hermoso, ahí todo el hierberío. What do you do about that?
Transportation.
Well, again, there comes a maintenance after that, and so
Sure, but
those are.
but that's private property.
Oh, that's enforcement. Yes.
No, what I'm saying, we have
Yes.
one beautiful site.
Yes,
And
that's enforcement, right.
that's why we have all these ordinances and nobody enforces them.
So designs and sketches have been done for the downtown area, which I think it'd be interesting to view, so that when you do invite Mr. Ceballos, and he should bring the presentation with him.
So, we're not gonna be able to get all these in one meeting, and it's gonna be difficult, so, well, I think 4 at a time, was that too much?
It depends, I mean, just make sure that we have enough time for the committee to be here, and that'll
Is
be
it
it.
40 time, 4 minutes in a month?
No,
for-
because we're asking for
for
public
presentations.
works, we're asking
Yes.
for utilities, tours, like there's all these, we're not gonna be able to entertain them all in one meeting,
Yeah.
and they all have their own schedules as well, but, so what I'd like to see, Mr. Chavez, is we're going to, we've shot a lot of different
Yes.
people,
Yes.
departments that we'd like to see. They're all subject to availability, of course. Let's see which 4 are available at our next meeting, bring them in, and then once we get those in here, then we'll get another 4. But I don't want to say let's see these 4 because we don't know what their availability is.
Right.
So here's a list of all the people that we want to see. Let's bring in 4 that are solid commits,
Okay.
so we can start to work our way through this.
So are we talking about TERS, traffic, public works,
TERS, traffic, public works, utilities.
utilities, that's 4?
And
Uh,
Mr. Ceballos.
Yeah, no, TERS is Mr.
Yeah,
Ceballos.
TERS.
TERS, traffic, public works, utilities?
Do y'all want transportation would probably be one, because.
If we're going to be talking about this widening downtown, then yeah, it would be good to have them as well. I can't think of anybody else. Narvaez, Dominguez, Hernandez.
My biggest one was utilities. But we-
Utilities is important. I mean, they all are, but utilities.
And you just, we'd want them to present, I guess, their general plan?
see,
Yes, well, I think more
Or
than anything
downtown?
else, downtown.
Downtown.
I think
Okay.
downtown is probably the biggest reason. If there's 2 things that I think this committee is going to focus on, it's going to be downtown and also
I guess
The
when we get to Mines Road, I think
It-
Tex dot should be in.
Yeah.
Yes.
yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, and
Yes.
that's where I was going with it.
Right.
The industrial parks, those are probably gonna be the 2 things that we're gonna focus on. There's gonna be some street paving in there as well.
Like Unitech?
Yeah, and anything and everything having to do with Mines Road and or transportation. I mean, transportation is, the lion's share of it is in Mines Road, but it's all over, it's everywhere. We have to be able to cater to those. So yes, that's a very good point.
If we want to follow the CIP plan, one of the areas is the Cuatro Vientos area, based on what I'm seeing here.
That's definitely TxDOT.
Mhm.
Why is that in our CIP, Mr. Chavez?
What's that?
Cuatro Vientos.
It's a 5-year plan, unless I'm looking at something different.
Yeah, let me see.
I'm looking at the 24 goals.
24 goals, I'm trying to see it. Where you see the Cuatro Vientos? Oh, that was a connection that we did on Los Presidentes. It connected
it's
to
just
Cuatro
an
Vientos.
imagery.
Yeah, we extended through the RMA.
It's already done.
Yes, Los
It's okay.
Presidentes, about 0.6, 0.7 miles. And this was part of the idea to connect to the sports complex and all that.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
It
That's
was
one of the
the
main.
continuation of Los Presidentes,
Mm-hmm.
on the other side of Cuatro Vientos. Real nice street.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Concrete,
Yes.
white.
Mr. Mata, Maldonado, are you guys coming down from,
Yes.
when, give us some insight, when they schedule their
I
next
can't give you
meeting?
insight. That's cheating.
When did they schedule the next meeting?
They're going
Actually,
to,
they-
go ahead.
Yeah, they didn't take a vote on that, because they wanted to check with Mr. Wallace's schedule. He wasn't there today.
Ah,
So
okay.
they're gonna be nice to kind of work around his schedule.
Did you mention the Tuesday meetings, the main committee meeting Tuesdays? Has that been an hour?
Right, but that's gonna be mentioned. So we're reserving Tuesdays. I can't tell you which Tuesday's gonna be, but we're gonna meet once a month on a Tuesday with the main committee. So I would ask that whenever you schedule your meetings, just don't do it on a Tuesday.
That's exactly what we scheduled.
It just passed.
You can do it.
And they do it
You can
around
do it
us.
this coming Tuesday, since we're not meeting, or the entire month of October to the 28th. But I would ask, for us
Yeah,
to
we
Tuesday.
set it for the 22nd of this month.
Okay.
Good. That's 22nd, correct?
Yeah.
22nd of this month.
Yeah, yeah, and again, you can meet as often as you want,
It's all right.
as much as you guys like each other. You don't see every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it gets recorded, you can meet.
Well,
as
we're
often
taking
as you want.
football into consideration. I am.
The next one is
And
gonna be.
FYI, if I may, just to
Mr. Maldonado?
let the committee know, today I did post, 2 meetings for public safety,
Mhm.
for the 17th and the 22nd. They've already scheduled those 2 meetings for them.
And where are they meeting?
They're gonna meet at,
Main admin.
the admin building for,
Oh, okay, so we're fine.
Safety,
fire
PD.
and police.
Okay, so we're fine.
Yes.
And they're doing one meeting per one because it's the whole fire, so.
Okay. Any other discussion?
You asked about the
Questions?
Corpus Christi
Oh, yeah, cost.
project, 3.7 million. That was in 2022.
It took almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
3.7.
3.7.
7 million, and how long?
How many blocks?
4 blocks.
4?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was a long project,
Mhm.
because
Yes.
I used to ride up and down Corpus, and I could not ride up
Mhm.
Corpus for a
Right.
very long time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
4
But it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Finito.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so motion to adjourn?
Before we do that, if I may, I'm sure you covered it, but if you notice on that first sheet of the binder back to the agenda, there's a contact information for all subgroups. I will be providing you with updated information. I believe some of those slides have been updated, so I'll send you those updated files. That is your binder to keep, to bring to all the meetings.
Okay.
Your battle book, as I call them. And so any update information to any of those slides or anything that gets presented, I will, or Mr. Ramon Liaison will send it. But feel free to contact me. My business card is on that binder, and so we're here to serve you.
One more thing before we adjourn.
Mhm.
Mention TxDOT.
Mhm.
Who is running the MPO now? Who's the
chair?
Not the chair, no, the staff. It's somebody from the county now, is it not? Who's Nathan? Back then it was Nathan. Who's that now?
No.
Who's like the chairman?
No, not the
Juanito.
chairman.
Juan.
No, he's talking about the director for the actual MPO.
Juanito.
Oh, Juan Mendive.
Mendive.
Yeah, Juan Mendive.
And who is he? Is he with city or county?
Either or.
City.
City,
He belongs to
Yeah.
the MPO.
Uh-huh.
Really?
The board.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a weird setup, but, so he takes direction from the MPO, and that's one of the things we're gonna meet hopefully in the upcoming weeks, right now we
Yes.
have administrative
That'd be a good
support
one,
to
yes.
them as far as the MOU, but we wanna establish those lines as to, who.
TxDOT goes through the MPO, as
Yes.
we all know.
Correct.
So that's probably the best person
That's
to be able
correct.
to work through with the MPO, with TxDOT at the same time, so we can all get in the same page. So
I
having
agree.
him- Having him here.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
As often as possible.
Yes.
would be
Okay.
Great.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's 6. As up to now. Mm-hmm.
All right.
So the idea is to have as many as we can of these 6.
If there's only 6, yeah, as many as we
1,
can every
2,
single
3,
meeting.
4, 5,
So
6.
just extend the invitation every single meeting, and so they can be there for any questions
Mhm.
and their
Yeah,
concerns.
these meetings are public, so anyone's welcome to come, and there's,
Yeah.
you know, so.
Yeah, Mr. Sauvignon crashed it.
So I'll talk to them, Mr. Chair, to all 6 of them, have good communication with all of them, and have them bring something that they can present to the subcommittee, so that, again, y'all can make sure all that information is available at your fingertips.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Any other questions,
No, sir.
concerns, discussion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr.
Make
Narvaez,
a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
The second by Mr. Dominguez. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against, motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen.